control of the ball and lots of passing and movement. Just taking a wee while to come to terms with this Kalju team, and because listen, they're in the middle of the season, they're fit, they'll move around the pitch quite well. Just interestingly also from Celtic is that they're playing actually Ayer on the left centre back position tonight with Beaton over on the right, which is interesting change for Neil Lennon.
Given Ayer played right back the last two games.
And it's almost like a back three now that he's gone with tonight, because it was interesting also when the ball was over this way and said Beaton didn't join in. You expect him as a right back to maybe bomb up the outside of Forrest to give him a little bit of an opportunity to lose his man, but he didn't. He stayed back in the position, so I think it's almost like a back three tonight.
He's under orders. We heard Neil Lennon talking about
Forrest to give him a little bit of an opportunity to lose his man, but he didn't. He stayed back in the position, so I think it's almost like a back three tonight.
He's under orders. We heard Neil Lennon talking about Kieran Summers has got that goal. That's in Group F. Partick Thistle Clyde also taking place this evening across the city here in Glasgow. Airdrie Onions 0, Queen's Park 1. That adds to the St Johnstone goal from Tanzer, which is then 1-0 up on Brechin. Here in the sunny East End of Glasgow, it is Beaton with the long ball looking for Edwards. A comfortable enough header there for Avilov, but it's going to break to Christie on the edge of the box. He shoots and the goalkeeper knocks it behind with the slightest of touches. Christie's shot was moving and weaving its way towards the goalkeeper, who knocks it behind for Celtic's third corner. Almost on 10 minutes, it's goalless, but the Scottish champions
it was just a long
coming
ball
forward on a regular basis.
Liam, it was a long ball played up with Beaton, headed away, and Christie was right on it. Good footwork and hit a wonderful shot.
Low from Griffiths to the edge of the box for Forrest, gets it under control with the right foot along the deck to McGregor. McGregor away from one challenge, moving out to that left hand side, gliding as he does. Low ball across is not clear there by Uge, the Italian defender, and out for a throw into Celtic on that far side, which is taken short by Ayer to Bolingoli, and now back with Scott Brown. 0-0.
Yeah, I'm just going back to that shot from Christie. He was really onto it like a flash, and he hit it with real pace. The goalkeeper did well because there's a little bit of sunlight running down the middle of the pitch, and it looked as if it was right in his eyes when he made that touch. It was a good save.
There's Callum McGregor on that left hand side, it's a bit level with the edge of the Kalju D, plays it short, square in field to Bolingoli, trying to get himself away from a challenge. He's found Edouard right beside him. Edouard now dancing towards the edge of the box, tries to stab it towards Griffiths. It's an over the top challenge on the edge of the area. That's got Bolingoli. It's not a booking, John. It's not even a free kick according to the Danish referee. John clearly felt that was at least a foul, potentially a card there for the defender. Studs were up, John.
I think he went for the ball when he got the ball, but you cannot in this day and age tackle with your studs showing, and that's certainly the case in that tackle there.
Yeah, it was Avilov, the right centre half. Ayer winning it back for Celtic in the centre circle. He's away from two, just brushed them aside like they weren't there. Clip ball with the right foot to the left, looking for Bolingoli, but it's going to go out harmlessly for a goal kick. 11 and a half in at 0-0, and Packie Celtic more than capable of scoring goals in gluts. They don't need to almost go for the throat immediately.
They've got to keep the ball moving, Liam, and keep that 1-2 touch pass that we've seen in the warm-up that they were practicing, just keeping that going, keeping it flowing. The openings will come, and at the moment at the start of a game you always have a team that when they're almost defending in a group like that, it's very difficult to open them up, but they will open up eventually, so don't panic.
Avilov, who went in over the top there on Bolingoli, played against Hearts in the Europa League qualifiers 3 years ago. He was with another Estonian side, Infinite Tallinn. Several teams in Tallinn play in the Estonian capital, where Celtic will visit the second leg in 8 days' time. This is James Forrest on this near side, midway inside Kalju territory, changing gear at level with the penalty spot now. Right foot low ball back to Christie, left foot chip ball into the box, looking for Edouard. Too high for the Frenchman, and behind it goes for a goal kick to Kalju, and it stays at 0-0.
Yeah, also Leon, I'm just looking at the tactics here in the shape of Celtic. What it is with the three at the back, Christie's playing higher up obviously, and Callum McGregor's playing more advanced than Scott Brown, who's sitting protecting the three centre backs. So that's a real attacking team. He's got six up there with Kluke, Griffiths and Edward and the two wing backs.
It's not been as good a season or the year. It's summer calendar, as I was saying earlier, that the Estonians play. They were denied a league and cup double in May. The cup final, bizarrely, is played in the middle of the following season, and they lost that one. They've lost a couple of league games as well, and sacked their manager. They're a Russian in charge now, a Ukrainian who's in charge of them right now in the wake of all that. 40-year-old Roman Kujukovsky, as Kalju get themselves a free kick. It's on before the midway point of the Celtic half. It's in a position where they're able to load the box, and there's a throng of pink jerseys lined along the 18-yard line. And Kalju, right hand side of the pitch, can knock this into the box.
They're a big team, Liam, and here comes the free kick. Plenty of targets.
Puri has left it, and it's Power who plays it into the area. It's a poor one. It's cleared in the left angle of the area. Edouard's gone down, but the referee allows the advantage. Bolingoli chips it forward, looking for Forrest. He's put it straight at Alidor though, and Kalju able to clear. It was a really good counter-attacking opportunity there for Celtic, which they don't take. 0-0, 14 played.
So it was a strange pass from Bolingoli, wasn't it? He was in a great position to pick somebody out. He had a player down the left hand side, down the right hand side, and he totally miscued from a great position.
Just going back on the free kick there for Kalju, I noticed that Scott Brown's picking up the centre half. He's the last man, he's picking up the centre half.
McGregor threading it through, looking for Bolingoli. It's cut out. Then Puri with the sliding challenge finds Lilu, the striker. Then it's played back to Subotin, who plays it to the right hand side. A chip ball in field is blocked. It's going to break the way of Lilu, who's the free scoring striker wearing the number 11. He's got himself away from the challenge. He crosses, and the header, well, it's gone out to the near side rather than towards goal, and the end up from Peter Klein. But that is a huge opportunity for the Estonians to shock Celtic Park. It stays 0 each.
Liam, it was great work down the right hand side, and it was whipped across, and it was on his head. All he needed to do was get someone on it, and it's in the back of the net. I think Beaton might have got to him, or Simonovic, and just gave him maybe enough of a nudge just to put him on, and luckily for Celtic, he missed the ball completely.
But what they've done, John, is they've exploited that left hand side when Bolingoli was high up the pitch again, and what the two strikers up front also, that occupies almost the back three of Celtic, and who's going to go out to that left hand side and almost cover for Bolingoli is the question. They exploited really, really well.
And as I say, if it's Simonovic, and I think it was him that was out there trying to defend the cross, you know, he doesn't want to find the cell out here. He's more a centre half and defend his box.
That's a major let-off for Celtic there, because Peter Klein probably should have been scoring an away goal for Nomme Kalju there. Partick Thistle have gone 1-0 up on Clyde in group of goals at the tail end of last season to secure promotion for the Staggies. They lead Forfar Athletic by a goal to 0 in Group B, maintaining their 100% start to the season. It's out for a throw-in over on that far side for Celtic, but level with their own penalty spot, taken quickly by Bolingoli to Ayer. Now it is back with the Belgian playing at left wing back, where he wins a throw-in. He takes that quickly as well to Chris Ayer. 16, almost 17 minutes played of this Champions League second qualifying round first leg. It is near Beaton, across halfway at walking pace. Low ball to Griffiths, lovely little deft drop of the shoulder away from Alidor. It's clipped out Kalju 18-yard line. Forrest takes it quickly to Beaton, who is in enemy territory here. Beaton switches it right to left of the circle for Ayer. It's the big Norwegian passing it forward to McGregor, to Bolingoli, now back to Ayer, forward to Edouard. Edouard's at the left angle of the box, moves into it, short to McGregor, beautifully worked. Edouard gets it onto the right foot. He's been closed down by two defenders, and he'll have to settle for the corner. It just looked as though it was opening right up for the man who sealed the treble last season. It is a corner only though. It's Celtic's fourth of the game, 0-0, 18 minutes in.
No, it was a brilliant bit of play, give and go, just a little ball in the inside and then a little reverse pass into his path. I thought he should have hit it with his left foot. I thought he should have taken it on. Instead he tried to check onto his right foot and the chance was gone.
Griffiths takes the corner. It's a good one. It's in the 6-yard box. It drops. It's cleared. There were 3 in green and white hoops inside that area, but it's out only for a throw into Celtic on this near side, midway inside Kalju territory. James Forrest over it. That drops to a Celtic player. There's every chance that gets lashed home, but it's still 0 each. And it's Beaton to Simunovic. Short to his left for Ayer. Short to McGregor. McGregor towards the edge of the Kalju box for Edouard. Back to McGregor. Brown's there. Maybe he wants him. He does. He plays it to Brown. He plays it out to Forrest on the right angle of the box. He's level with the penalty spot. Trying to torment the defender, Kulnaitis. It's a deflection on its way back. It comes to Christie. Finds Brown. Short ball to his left for Bolingoli. He finds Brown again. Celtic trying to weave their way through here. It is Christie. Low ball to the right for Forrest. Chips it in for Griffiths. Gets a little touch with the right foot, but it goes flying by the left-hand post. He looks up to the skies as if to suggest he should have done better with that one, but anyway.
He should have been, but I think it was on his weaker foot. No excuse, right enough, it was on his right foot. And maybe the defender done enough just to put him off missing it. He'd taken a little bit surprised, but usually you see Griffiths hit the target.
Coming into this season, Scottish football sat 25th in the coefficient table. That's going to go up to 20th next season. We are still a long way off automatic Champions League group stage football. A long way off. 11th in that table got it this year, but that was only because Chelsea won the Europa League, and by virtue of that allowed Salzburg to get an automatic place in the top 10. They make it automatically nowadays. Scottish football, as I say, and perspective, 25th this season. McGregor is chipped to the ground by Subbotin. That's going to be a free kick to Celtic, and this is in a very nice area, and it's in a very, very nice area for Lee Griffiths.
It was Christie last week and he's walked away with it. There's only one taker here, Liam, as you say, it's Griffiths.
27 yards out.
It's perfect for him.
Perfect. Get it up and down, over the wall, whatever you want to do.
Brings back England, memory England, his free kick against England. Same sort of distance.
Yeah, one or two of those, wasn't there? He's done it in the green and white hoops many, many times as well. The goalkeeper's left a load of space to Griffiths' top right, which is surely where he will be aiming for here. The Danish referee just moving the Estonian champions' wall back.
No, but he's moving also Edward out away from the wall, which is the new rule now. You've got to be a metre away, Liam.
Griffiths to take then, left-footed. It's Griffiths, it's into the wall, breaks to Brown. What a save! Brilliant save from Londak, who makes himself big and denies the Celtic skipper.
Yeah.
It stays 0-0 on 21.
It was Scott Brown, and the free kick took a deflection, spun up in the air. Brown was in on second, took it on the drop and then hit it into the ground that's usually go in. Fantastic save for the goalkeeper.
I hope it's not going to be one of those nights as far as Celtic's concerned, when you have a goalkeeper who has played very, very well in the last leg also, and in the last round, to put them into this tie.
They wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. It's as simple as that.
That was a superb save. Out quickly, really top of Scott Brown, and gets a brilliant block on it.
Yeah, he pulled off, particularly the first leg at home, but there were several in the second leg as well, and their goal was living a charmed life, because he couldn't do anything about the ones that hit the woodwork. They were fortunate to get through. That's the first big save of the match for Londak. Here comes Celtic with Beaton. Going to make hay while they are very much on top in this. And it's Forrest on this near side. Jinks away from Puri. Couldn't get away from Alidor. He's back with Puri here, who bizarrely, best spell in his career has come in Ireland. He played for a couple of sides in the League of Ireland. What has been as I said, a very nomadic career. At Sligo Rovers and Waterford he played for as Beaton. Comes forward, he plays it to Christie, central area, midway inside the Kalju half, but the outside of the boot pass goes awry, and now it's picked up by Lilu, who's had to come very deep to get onto it. He's found Puri to his left. It's away from Brown, couldn't get away from Beaton though. And he just railroads him into giving possession back to the home team. Edouard to McGregor. Eventually gets it into his stride. He had to turn 180 degrees to do so. Moving it out to the right for Forrest. It's on the left foot. A Trundler. It's easily blocked. Forrest on the slide. Manages to retain the ball for Celtic to Christie. It's a shout for handball. Christie finds Brown anyway. Brown back out wide right for Ryan Christie into the second quarter of the first leg of the second qualifying round tie. Christie works the 1-2 with Forrest. Christie across the 6-yard line. Cut out. Comes to Christie again. Christie looks in the mood, as he did in the last round. Left-footed cross ball, cut out by Alidor, and that'll go out for a throw-in right down by the corner flag in front of the smattering of Nomme Kalju supporters who have made the trip from the Baltics to Glasgow for this tie, this first leg of this tie.
I just feel we've just played over 20 minutes, Liam. I just feel Celtic's now getting a rhythm, and I can see a goal coming within the next 10 minutes. I just get that feeling.
Just get that goal and you can see them scoring more and effectively put this tie to bed tonight. That's what Neil Lennon will be hoping, because it gets a whole lot tougher after this one. It is McGregor getting it from Ayer, forward to Edouard, lovely skill, couldn't get away from the second challenge though. 24 in at 0-0. Celtic throw in.
Yeah, the thing about it, they're working this team, John. You know, they're moving the ball well. Every single one of the Kalju players has got to be totally on it and concentrating, and that will dip as the game goes on. There's no question about it.
It is picked up by Forrest on this near side, looking for Edouard, right hand side of the box, cut out for another Celtic corner. They're knocking on the door, perhaps not quite as loudly as Neil Lennon would like them to be knocking on the door.
Yeah, but you've got to look at the opposition also, haven't you?
You know, be patient, and you know it'll come. You just do keep doing the right things, do it quick, do it with quality, and that door opens.
Another corner then, Griffiths to take, in swinger with the left foot, right hand side as they attack the goal to the right. It's very deep, it's going to be headed back across by Ayer, and the goalkeeper smuggles the ball away from Simunovic's feet there inside the 6-yard box and holds on for dear life. 20 minutes of this first half to play.
Yeah, the reason I say that earlier on, Liam, is I feel Celtic might score for a set plays, because I don't like the zonal marking. I think that people can get a run on you, and if you can get a run on people, you can 9 times out of 10 you're up above them and you're favourite to head the ball. So, and that is the case every time Celtic get a set play, usually a corner, you know, they're winning that first header.
Edouard's dummy is beautiful for Griffiths, but there's an offside flag up against Celtic's number 9. That will be a free kick to Kalju. The winners of this will come through the tie. Whoever comes through the tie will come up against whoever comes through the tie between Cluj and Maccabi Tel Aviv. The Romanians at home tonight, and they are 1-0 up against the Israelis. A goal on 22 minutes. It remains 1-0. They're into the second half of that. 152 minutes played. So as I mentioned, it does get more difficult. Cluj in particular, a very recent history of Champions League group stage football, and if they can come through that one, if it goes to seeding, the playoffs, Bate Borisov, Young Boys, Apoel or Slavia Prague, as it stands, if all those teams come through, Celtic can get to the playoff stage, which they couldn't manage last year, despite putting in one of their best performances of the season, certainly in the first half of their third qualifying round, home first leg against AEK Athens. Here's Forrest for Celtic, down the right hand side up against Puri. So many Kalju players inside their own box, so difficult for Celtic to find space. Long ball pumped in by Brown, headed away, no foul against Griffiths there. It was a header cleared there by Markovic, who's playing it right back. It's with Bolingoli on the left hand side on 27 goalless minutes. Back to Ayer. Ayer side football to Edouard, first time for Christie. It's blocked, and Christie blocking it himself really, came off his boot, couldn't get control of the ball, and now Lilu comes forward on the left hand side into the Celtic half, but well read the pass by Lilu there to Klein, who had the best opportunity of the game for the visitors as Brown loses it in the midfield, and now it's Alidor at the edge of the box. He shoots and he slices it with the right foot wide off the outside of the boot. It was careless from Celtic, and right now you kind of feel it would only be carelessness from the Scottish champions. They would see the Estonians get a sniff. Klein's header earlier on apart. They've not spent too much time in Celtic territory. 27 and a half goalless minutes in.
No, but you don't want to let them build up their confidence. Don't give them a sniff. And that was a bad pass. I think it was from Beaton into Brown in a very dangerous position. Lost possession, and the shot was off target.
Forrest, short ball to Christie on the edge of the box. Shoots wide with the right foot, goes by the left hand post. He scored last week in the second leg against Sarajevo. Looking to double up here, Ryan Christie, but it's past the post. It stays nothing each.
That was good play there, out to Forrest, went in the park, linked it into Christie, who took it on the half turn, hit it with his right foot, never quite connected with it, but they're the ones that usually go and it just went past the goalkeeper's far post.
Run you through the scores in the Betfred. Hearts 0, Stennismere 0 in Group A, 1-0 Ross County in Group B, St Johnstone 1-0 up on Brechin. Also in that group, Airdrieonians 0, Queen's Park 1, Partick Thistle 1, Clyde 0 in Group F. Now we're here in Clyde have just equalised against Partick Thistle. It's Tony Wallace who has scored the goal for the Bully Wee. Ayer tried to prevent the corner, which he couldn't, and that's going to be a corner for Kalju. Wide on the right and a Ray Forey forward, and it was from a corner that they scored the goal that took them through to this second qualifying round tie against Celtic. And from that side of the pitch as well, it was Lilu who headed home late on against Skendia.
And just having a look here, Liam, the last time Scott Brown picked up the number 5, no this time.
Well, the corner's going to be flighted in from the north stand side, right footed. It's deep as well, but it's going to evade everyone, and it will come out to this near side for Ryan Christie, trying to play, and no Celtic player touched it. So Celtic have a throw-in. Kalju drew 1-1 at the weekend. It was a much changed lineup. They were eyeing up, sizing up this game in the build-up in the hope that they can take a positive result back to Tallinn next week. The game won't be played in their stadium because it holds less than 1,000 people, so they moved it to the relatively new National Stadium that hosted the UEFA Super Cup final a year ago between the two Madrid sides. As Christie's back heel finds Griffiths. Griffiths' back heel couldn't find Forrest in the box. It's won back by Alidor on the edge of his own penalty area. It's good play by the Frenchman, who's seen more of the ball for Kalju than any of his teammates, as that's rolled up the line by Lilu. He's got it into the path of Fury. No offside. Brown covering back, and he knocks it out for a throw into Kalju. But they're level with the edge of the Celtic D here, and they're seeing more possession in the Celtic half of late. Half an hour into this first leg, 0-0.
Yeah, well, listen, half an hour in, they'll be delighted to get to the stage 0-0. They didn't have to progress up. All they had to do is just work hard to maintain that sort of 0-0 at this point in time. And you can see that they are well into their season, and you can see that they are sharp, fairly sharp. And it's difficult. It's turned out to be a little bit more difficult for Celtic than we thought.
As John says, they're 20 games into their season, 12 points off the league leaders. Flora throw in, which Kulnitis will take down with the corner flag, headed away by Beaton. Edouard trying to get onto it, but it's won back here by Kalju. There's Alidor playing it out to this near side. It's picked up by Subotin. He loses it though, and Edouard picks up, finds Christie on this near side. Skips the challenge of Subotin and from Kulnitis. Great play by Ryan Christie, who will, as he cross-fields it to Bolingoli, is to retreat to get onto the ball. He'll look back at that League Cup semi-final against Hearts in Murrayfield last year as being Renaissance Day for his Celtic career, because he has not looked back since then. Injury against Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup semi-final apart. Given away by Beaton. Picked up on the edge of the centre circle by Lilu, who's playing the deeper of the two forward players for Kalju, despite the fact he was their top scorer last season and the season before. In fact, 31 in 30 games last season for the Brazilian who wears the number 11. But they've given it away, and it's Bolingoli who picks up on the left, and he moves it infield to McGregor. Gets to the edge of the centre circle. Long raking ball forward for Edouard, who's onto it here. Can he prevent the goal kick? He can. Keeps it in play up against the defender. Wins the corner. Celtic are racking up the corner kicks. It's still 0-0 though on 32.
Yeah, they are, and that we'll go back to what John was talking about, the zonal. If they can get the right delivery and the right movement from those players from the edge of the box, I think they have a real chance of scoring here, because it's very difficult to stop somebody of the height of Simunovic and Beaton and the likes of Ayer pounding in there if you give them a run at you.
Griffiths stands over the corner, but Bolingoli, who was forced off in the first leg against Sarajevo, is down again in the central area of the pitch in the Kalju half, and he's going to require some attention here, Packy.
Yeah, he doesn't look at it. He's obviously down, and he does require attention. It's not as if there's much movement out of him, but I would probably force Neil Lennon to make some sort of change tactically also, because he's gone with almost a 3 with him pushing up on the left hand side.
Saying that, Packy, he's got Johnny Hayes on the bench, so it might be link for link, but
would he play Johnny Hayes out there only on his own?
Yeah,
it's an interesting one, but Yeah, Celtic, I think the beating of this team is in the wide areas also. You know, you've got Forrest out here who's had plenty of the ball, but every single time he's got about 10-15 yards of room. Get the ball to him quickly and let him get on and take people on, because he's got the ability to go outside, inside, and when you get that amount of room, then he's too good a player.
It's a fairly lengthy stoppage here. Should just say Bolingoli, he's just got back to his feet.
Yeah, when it goes to Forrest, as I says at the start of the game, it's the fullback, Puri, the wing back, the winger. He's back, he's the first one, so he's got two players to take on. But I agree, he's still good enough. Take it on. You only need 5 yards. Get it wide and get it whipped in.
Yeah, Puri started the game well. He played in the game at Pittodrie against Scotland for Estonia, and Gordon Strachan's first game in charge of the Scots. Griffiths will take the corner. Celtic down to 10 temporarily, and it comes. It's half away. McGregor half volleying it towards goal, but his low shot was well wide of the right hand post. So goals in the vast majority of the Betfred Cup matches tonight. Nothing at Tynecastle yet, John Barnes.
No, 33 minutes played here and it's still goalless, but Hearts are dominating this encounter. McLean to the header, which was well saved by Graham Smith. Souters of the header wide of the target. Bozanic fired over. They're just looking for a clear-cut chance in front of goal, but it's still goalless.
Against Stenhousemuir, were relegated to League 2 last season. They did hold Aberdeen at home in the Scottish Cup last season. Well, that Pittodrie. Chris Kane scored for St Johnstone. They now lead Brechin City by 2-0. That adds to the earlier Tanser penalty. 1-0 Ross County against Forfar. That also in Group B. In Group F, Airdrieonians 0, Queen's Park 1, Partick Thistle 1, Clyde 1. Celtic free kick. Meantime, you hear the road in the background as Edouard goes down into the challenge, left hand side of the box. This free kick will be almost about level with the Kalju penalty spot as Celtic look to try and get this opening goal. We got 10 minutes to play until half time of this Champions League second qualifying round first leg.
Yeah, and this time Griffiths is not taken because he's obviously out there with his left foot. It would be an outswinger. So I'm looking at, I think it's Ryan Christie that's over the ball. It's a good enough position.
It looks like a change is going to have to be made here, Packy. Looks like Bolingoli's done for the night by the looks of things. Anyway, corner comes in. It's headed in off the underside of the crossbar. Christopher Ayer gets it from the corner, and Celtic break down the stuffy Estonian champions finally. Celtic 1, Kalju 0. Big goal from Chris Ayer.
Big goal, but what a delivery from Ryan Christie. Brilliant ball between the goalkeeper and the centre halves, and getting across again. That's kind of almost like that marking, let them down, and Christopher Ayer getting across the near post.
I think it also takes a wee deflection. But anyway, Liam, that's me finished. I say Celtic would score within the next 10 minutes and it would be from a set plate. That's me done my bit.
So definitely in the last 10 minutes though. We're going to have to check that.
We're going to have to
check
that.
Yeah, it's a big moment. Just as Celtic were about to make the substitution, the set play headed home by Ayer, and his first of the season in the Norway International, and that change is going to be made by Celtic here. Martin Dowden is our pitch side reporter, and just confirm that for us.
Yeah, Bolingoli going off. It will be Mikey Johnston who's come back into fitness. He missed the second leg against Sarajevo last week, but he'll get the opportunity out on that left hand side to run at this defence.
Yeah, wonderful goal he scored in Sarajevo. He was gutted to have to go off injured a little bit later, but as I said at the time, as we're saying, I think Neil Lennon has earmarked him to have a big role to play in the first team this season, and when you see his goal in the Balkans, you can see why.
Yeah, he's obviously going to play that left-hand side, and that's an interesting one to see if he will be able to handle it defensively. We wouldn't expect too much in that defensive away from Mikey Johnson, especially when he's on his own on that side. So it'll be really interesting to see how he handles it.
Big night of Europa League football tomorrow. Aberdeen 5:45 kickoff against Shakura of Georgia. They are playing that game in the capital Tbilisi, in the stadium where two Scottish national sides have gone down to big defeats, major finals ending defeats. Boris Paicadze, Dinamo Arena, and Aberdeen will be playing Shakura there tomorrow. It's 3 hours away from where Shakura play, and then later Rangers up against Progress Niederkorn of Luxembourg, who need no introduction to the Ibrox side. That game at Ibrox, 7:45 kick-off. Those two in the UEFA Europa League. Brown for Celtic, pumping it right to left, looking for Johnston on that left-hand side. Found himself in a really advanced position, and he gets on to it after the defender made a mess of it, though it's a good recovery by Casper Power on the far side, out for a throw-in to Celtic midway inside their opponent's half, taken quickly by McGregor. Ayer gets the nutmeg on the attacker, and helped out by Johnston. It's now moved by Beaton out to Forrest on this near side. 39 minutes played. Celtic making that breakthrough, which they would dearly have hoped to have done before the interval, before things gone into kind of nervy territory, but that just blows the nerves and apprehension, if there was any, and they've been dominating things, but if there was any, it blows it all away.
Yeah, I'm just looking down at the Celtic bench, and John Kennedy's out giving Beaton a roasting. I think when they want him to get the ball, they want him to drive forward with the ball and take up a more advanced position.
Christie down the left hand side of the Kalju box there for Johnston, taking on the defender. He's away from one, he's away from two, but as he run out of pitch, he has goal kick. Couldn't quite keep it in play to force it back across the face of goal, and it will stay Celtic 1, Kalju 0.
Yeah, well, what the Kalju defenders now, especially the fullbacks, have got to put up with now is you've got two almost attacking wingers there with Mikey Johnson over on the left hand side. He's got more of ability than let's say Ballingolly going forward on a 1v1 situation. He's capable of beating one, if not two players, and getting good quality ball into the box. And of course then Forrest on the right hand side, we've seen him starting off the game quite well so far.
This time last year Celtic were faced with Rosenborg, who they've taken care of no problem generally in the last couple of seasons, but clearly Rosenborg would have been a much harder tie than the one they are faced with here, given their history, as well as the fact that, of course, they're not world beaters these days. Still a tougher proposition. This is Alidor, skips away from two Celtic shirts and then gets it back in the about the right hand side of the penalty area. It's going to be Ayer being put under pressure, and Lilu forcing it out wide left here for Kulnitis, who finds Puris attacking the Celtic box. He's gone down under the challenge of Beaton. The referee is happy with the challenge. Little nervy moment for the Celtic defence there as they come away on the counter with McGregor. Now it's Edouard, who's trying to get away from his man on this near side. Edouard, right foot cross ball comes in. Lee Griffiths couldn't quite settle for him. Plays it back across the face, and it's not clear and out for a throw-in. It stays at 1-0. 4 minutes to play, but Lee Griffiths' eyes must have lit up there.
Yeah, he was unlucky actually. He kind of lost his stumble a little bit when he got control of the ball, but there's the movement of Celtic there between himself and Edward coming out on the right hand side, pulling centre halves out of position where they don't want to go. That created a little bit of room then in the middle, and just Lee Griffiths, he just couldn't get the ball under control to have a strike at the goalkeeper, test the goalkeeper.
Thrown to Celtic. Pury's off receiving treatment right now, presumably from that previous challenge on the edge of the Celtic box where he was denied a free kick and possible shot at goal. Forrest takes the throw into Simunovic, and now it's back with Forrest. Kalju down to 10. Celtic leading 1-0 with just over 3 minutes of the 45 to play. He's got something shoved up his nose there, Puri down below us, obviously taking a knock to that area. He's having his shirt changed, presumably there was blood. As that comes back to McGregor, rolling it to the edge of the D for Christie. Little dummy there, didn't know what was behind him though, hoped more than expected, and the long clearance from Kalju is picked up by Celtic again with McGregor. His pass is cut out by Alidor, and now it's Brown to Christie, out to Forrest on this near side. Forrest forward to Griffiths, little back heel looking for Edouard, cleared by Kalju to the halfway line where Simunovic gets onto it, rolling it forward to Christie. Christie moving towards the Kalju box. He's in it now. He's right hand side of it to the byline, trying to chip it back across, looking to win at least a corner. He's claiming there's a handball there. There's a lot of Celtic supporters think so there as well, and the referee agrees in consultation with his linesman, and Celtic have a penalty.
Graham, it cannot be. The linesman never gave it. He looked at his linesman. I never see him. Usually it's a flag across the chest. Am I right for a penalty? He never done that. It's a referee that's given a penalty.
Well, that being the case, the assist on this near side surely in a much better view of it. Celtic don't care. Ryan Christie's the ball in his arms. Lee Griffiths wants the ball at his feet, but Christie is going to take this penalty. 2 minutes from half time, and this is a massive moment already in this tie. Christie scores this. Celtic could potentially be looking at cruise control. Christie stands over the penalty, left footed, as Celtic look to move a step closer to the group stage. Here he goes, and in he goes! Bottom right corner from Christie, who scored against Sarajevo last week. He scores against Kalju this week, and Celtic are in a very, very nice position now. Celtic 2, Kalju 0, Christie penalty.
I'll tell you what, even if the goalkeeper went the right way for that penalty, the pace that he got on the ball, what a confidence from the young man, stepping up and burying it right into the side net. He didn't even allow Griffiths to have an argument. He went past him, put the ball down, bang, back in the net. Now they've got maybe a little bit of luck with a penalty when it bounced up. This new rule is in, if it's going to hit your hand, then it's a penalty. I'm not so sure, John. I think it's probably the assistant here and the referee talking now over that sort of kind of almost mouthpiece that they have.
Just going with the linesman flag. I'm sure the flag had to go across his chest.
There was a big shout, and the referee, the Danish official, gave the spot kick, and Celtic are 2-0 up. It's a dream scenario. Could be about to get even better. Forrest into the area. Griffiths on the left foot, deflected wide for the corner. And that looked for all the money, 3-0. He just couldn't wriggle enough space on the defender to get the clean shot at goal. It doesn't hit the target. It is another corner. You just get the feeling the script's written for Lee Griffiths to score tonight.
Yeah, I fancy him myself, Liam. I just fancy him to score. He just worked that one on his left foot, and to be fair, a great defending, got back and got a toe and a block on it.
Griffiths corner, and it comes with the left foot out swinging as we go into stoppage time. 3 minutes have been added on at the end of it, so Celtic could feasibly get a third goal before the interval in this first leg. It would take all the stress away from the second leg in the Baltics next week, as Brown collects inside the centre circle and rolls it to McGregor. McGregor out to the left hand side there for Christie, gliding away, moving towards the box, rolling it to the left hand side of the area. It's Johnston, just had it pinched off him at the last moment by Uji, and Kalju able to clear. It's a poor challenge by Ryan Christie on that far side. The referee's going to book Celtic's second goal scorer for that. John Hughes reckoned that Celtic were going to score in the 10 minutes after he said it. I have an official time on that. What do you think?
I think he lost his bet. I think he lost his bet.
Probably, to be fair, I wouldn't be pulling you up about it if you got it right. 10:48, I think it was.
There you go. I think Mickey Mouse on my watch has been sleeping. Used to get pushing the hands quicker.
Yeah, I'm lucky. 2-0 Celtic. Christie looking to feed it out to the right there for Forrest, who will get onto it, but not where he wanted to. Ayer on 36, Christie on 44 from this penalty spot. Christie's on the deck here, and he's just become embroiled with fury. He's got the free kick though, just been booked as well. Ryan Christie's to be a little bit careful.
Yeah,
and they've got a free kick here. It's a bit further out than the last one.
Yeah, you're right, Liam. He needs to just settle down a little bit now. It's half time. He's excited because of the goal, but he's really energetic. Just now, keep the ball moving around, take a breather for a while. You don't have to go diving into tackles and let the rest of the players take care of that.
John, you know Ryan Christie really well. I mean, he's just matured, and he was a fabulous footballer for you in Inverness. Just incredible now. His physique as well.
Yeah, it has for me cemented his place in this Celtic team. Had it all to prove against Neil Lennon.
Griffiths to take, left footed. Oh, brilliant! He's back! He is back! Lee Griffiths, top right bin, and Celtic are on cruise control in this Champions League qualifier. Griffiths scores his first goal since the end of last year, and it is Celtic 3, Nomme Kalju 0. They're heading through already.
Yeah, put the mic down and applauded him there, because wow, it's same position as the last time. He obviously learned from the last one. Pace, top corner, goalkeeper no chance. Brilliant goal. Did say before the game, it's a lethal weapon.
And you've been saying it for the last couple of weeks. What Lee Griffiths brings is his free kicks. He's a specialist at it, and that was proven there. Fantastic whip right around that wall, right into the far corner.
It is his first goal since the 24th of November 2018, when he scored late on against Hamilton Academical in a 3-0 victory. It is a classic Griffiths free kick. It is a classic. Top right-hand corner with that oh so deadly left boot. And Celtic are 3-0 up. We're not even at half-time in the first leg of this Champions League qualifier. Certainly not the stress that Neil Lennon is used to as Celtic manager in these tense, taut qualifying matches. As the referee blows for half-time, it is the perfect 45 minutes. 3 and it could have been more, but for the goalkeeper. But goals scored in the last 9 minutes of the first half from Ayer, a Christie penalty and a Griffiths free kick. A special from Celtic's number 9, who's had to wait a long time for that feeling once again. A feeling that he knows so well, but has been without for so long. And Celtic are cruising through after that domineering first half performance against the Estonian champions, who at 0-0 did have an opportunity on 16 minutes when Klein's header went closer to the corner flag than the goal, and he got more on it. It could have been a different story. Scott Brown missed a point-blank effort after a Griffiths free kick was deflected into his path. That was saved by Londak, who made another couple of interventions in that first half. Ayer's header from the free kick, Christie's penalty after the handball, and Griffiths does what Griffiths does to make the half-time score here in Glasgow's East End, as Celtic look to set up a third qualifying round tie against the Romanians Cluj or the Israelis Maccabi Tel Aviv. Celtic 3, Kalju 0.
Celtic in the Champions League qualifiers, live on Sportsound.
From BBC Radio Scotland, there's no substitute.
Absolutely everything has a voice at this time of the morning.
Helping you make the most of the great outdoors this summer.
It's a beautiful day. What a view.
From days out with the family,
splash about and get wet and get active,
to festival fun. It's an amazing wee place.
It's a wee hidden gem.
Out for the weekend, Friday afternoons from 2.
Will we start walking? Yeah, come on then.
And out of doors, Saturday mornings from 6:30.
You mentioned the fact there was heavy rain, yeah, and here it is.
Summer 2019 on BBC Radio Scotland.
Well, right now you're listening to Sportsound with me, Richard Gordon. We're live here on BBC Radio Scotland 810 medium wave. Online and on digital. In every football player's career there are moments to remember, moments to savour, moments I guess that you simply will not forget at the end of your career, and I think Lee Griffiths just experienced one of those. The free kick, as Liam so perfectly described, it was a trademark Griffiths free kick, but I think what was really significant was as he peeled away and he ran across to the corner flag and he celebrated with the fans and he dropped to his knees, and the rest of the players just held back. They didn't go and swamp him, they just left him to have a moment, and it was just a moment of private reflection. You wonder if maybe there was a tear or two there, because he put his face in his hands and it must have just been such a release for the Celtic striker. He's back, and he's back in typical fashion, and Celtic are already cruising, it would appear, to the third qualifying round in this season's Champions League. Get further thoughts from you in just a moment or two. We'll round everything up in the Betfred Cup right now, though it is half-time at Tynecastle. I'm not sure it's been quite as exciting there, John Barnes.
Not quite, Richard. 0-0 at the interval here at Tynecastle between Hearts and Stenhousemuir, and I have to say that it's been all Hearts throughout the course of the first 45 minutes. They've had more than half a dozen chances to take the lead, but they've failed to take them, and Stenhousemuir have only really tested the Hearts goalkeepers at NH Lamal on one occasion. That came after 38 minutes when they did have a striking goal. It was Alan Cook with a long-range free kick which brought out an easy save from the Hearts keeper. But before that, Stephen McLean had a header which brought out a great save from Graham Smith in the Steny goal after Michael Smith had swung in the cross from the right hand side. McLean connecting, and Graham Smith with the save. Suter then had a header wide. It was a long throw from Bozanic. Halkett flicked it on, and then Suter knocked it wide. Then another good move saw Michael Smith swing in a long throw after a good play before the throw, and Bozanic from 18 yards whacked it over the top of the crossbar with his left foot. Michael Smith also missed a chance after good build-up play involving Washington and Anthony McDonald and Michael Smith. And Sean Clare skied one over the top before he brought out a great save from Graham Smith near the end of the first half on his left foot, all power, but Smith managed to parry it away to safety. Well, Craig Levein was looking for entertainment. He was looking for goals. So far he's not got any goals. His side have been dominant, but they'd love to see them break through this sturdy Stenhousemuir defence. Hearts 0, Stenhousemuir 0 at half time.
Yeah, it'll be a source of frustration. I'm sure we heard from Craig Levein beforehand saying he wanted a performance, he wanted a win, in particular of course a win to send them to the top of the group. It would depend on if it finishes 0-0, depend on what happens in the shootout for the bonus point to see whether Hearts can join Dundee United on 7 points or not. But they're hoping to raise any fears about that during the course of the second 45 minutes. Elsewhere, Ross County on course to make it 4 wins out of 4 and to clearly clinch the group this evening. Brian Graham in the 15th minute, first of the season. Ross County 1, Forfar Athletic 0. And St Johnstone are 2-0 up on Brechin City. Scott Tanzer with the early penalty, his second successful penalty conversion already this season. And Chris Kane getting his first of the season in the 33rd minute. St Johnstone 2-0 up on Brechin, who are still awaiting their first goal of the new 29-20 season. Group F, it's Adrionians 0, Queen's Park 1. Kieran Summers with a goal in the 5th minute. And Partick Thistle, knowing that a win tonight would tie things up for them, they're 1-1 at home to Clyde in Group F. Shea Gordon putting them in front in the 12th minute with a second goal of the season. The Clyde equaliser coming shortly afterwards from Tony Wallace. As things stand, well, the start of play, Partick Thistle 7 points, Hamilton 6, Adrionians 3, Queen's Park 2, and Clyde without a point. If Queen's Park go and win that, they move on to 5 points. So a draw could be enough for Partick Thistle to clinch the group tonight, but only if they drew. And then, well, no, it wouldn't, because Hamilton have still got the game to go at the weekend. So they're going to have to wait the weekend unless they get the victory this evening. And we'll keep you across those matches as they move on to the second half. One Celtic fan, lucky Celtic fan, just won the Paradise Windfall £10,000 for the prize draw, and he's been presented by a massive cheque from John Hartson, the former Celtic striker, who's in the crowd with his family watching on this evening and has gone down to help with a half-time draw. All the Celtic fans in here will be feeling quite fortunate right now. Tom English, they've watched a fine 45 minutes. They've seen a 3-0 advantage, but they've got what they came here looking for, I guess, in terms of that third goal.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a beauty, wasn't it? Absolutely. Technique was sumptuous, and looked so effortless. You know, he's just so cool. And if that's the goal that sparks Lee Griffiths back into life, then this is great news for Celtic. I think, you know, the big picture, even allowing for the 3 goals, that Celtic were excellent. I thought their attitude, their patience was really good. They have an increased tempo now. They obviously play with a lot more urgency than they did under Brendan Rodgers. Get the ball forward a lot more quickly. I think that suits Celtic. They've been Christie has been very good. McGregor has been very good. But obviously the cherry on top was the Griffiths goal, which is a peach. And you know, this crowd are not great, are they? They're not great side, but Celtic are making them look a very average team. The 3-0, it could be 5 and 6 by the end of it. But the big takeaway so far is Griffiths. He looked sharp. Free kick was brilliant. If he's back, wow, what a boost that is for Celtic and for Scotland.
The applause in the background, incidentally, for Hatem Abdelhamed, the new signing who's just making his way onto the pitch. Number 33 shirt. I think they're just about to have a few words with him here for the fans to hear what the new man thinks.
about his arrival at Celtic Park, and he'll be eligible for the third qualifying round once Celtic dispose of Nomme Kalju, which they're clearly going to do. Look, Christie smashed home that penalty. I've got no idea if there was a handball or not. I mean, he came screaming across immediately. Ryan, he was determined. Absolutely,
it was definitely handball.
Yeah, right. Well, good. The referee's got that right in consultation with the linesman, but it was done by the wireless, the headsets that they wear, because there was no obvious indication from the assistant. So the penalty smashed away by Christie, very important. Griffiths obviously tying things up in the first half, 3-0. But that Ayer goal came at just the right time, didn't it? Because Celtic were all over the opposition. They weren't looking like getting past that keeper.
No, but I mean, I think they were totally in control. I think it was only a matter of time. I think the boys said it in commentary. It's only a matter of time, and to me, it looked like a matter of time. And Celtic were. I think
John actually said 10 minutes 48 seconds until Celtic take the lead in this game.
Absolutely, he said it to almost to the second.
Within the 10 minutes, he said.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were looking good. I thought Celtic were looking good. There was obviously they had to break through a pretty resolute defence, well organised, 9-10 men behind the ball at all times, but they did the job. And first goal was a nice goal. Well executed, good free kick. Ryan Christie has been very influential in the match. Second goal was a penalty, and blimey, that's the way to take a penalty, isn't it?
Yeah, there wasn't much doubt about that.
There's no stopping that one. You put two goalies in there, you're not going to stop that. That was brilliant. And then the third goal has electrified this place, hasn't it? It's just because of the guy who got it and his backstory over the last year or so.
It's a nice moment, that, wasn't it? After he scored
for him, huge moment for him, because that was Lee Griffiths at his 50 goal a season best, wasn't it? I mean, that was redolent of him at the peak of his powers, and we haven't seen that for quite a while. But it was beautiful. It was an absolutely beautiful goal.
Brilliant to see, really was. It's look well. I think we can tick beside Celtic's name. They're good through. I mean, in fact, there's no way this tie. I mean, I know Liam was talking about that AEK Athens match, which ultimately was hugely disappointing. There is no way that Celtic don't go through this time.
No. Listen, this is a different level. Celtic are a different level than this team. There's no question. The movement, the pace of passing, and as we were saying, they didn't need a goal on the half hour. It's always a good time to get it, and then you can build on that just before half time, which you've done expertly. I think young Ryan Christie was the man who almost set the tempo in this game. He was charging. He did get booked, as we know, charged into maybe a bit reckless challenge, but his tempo when he gets the ball, when he loses the ball, he's at it, all of those things. And his free kick, by the way, for the first goal was a fantastic free kick from the left hand side, an outswinger, enough just for the player to get a touch on it, and then his penalty bag. It looks like a player with real confidence, and a really, really, really good performance from him. But we go back to Lee Griffiths. We talked about it before the game, and I think we did question, was he going to get back to the level?
Yeah.
In those circumstances, free kick, out to the box, you never lose that. You never lose that weapon, and he has it, and he showed a wonderful, wonderful ability after the first one didn't quite come off. And I don't know, I can't remember the first one actually what happened, but it was
hit the wall, and then Scott Brown nearly scored.
That's right, it hit the wall. But this time he learned from that, and he got it absolutely spot on. A wonderful reaction from him, wonderful reaction also from the crowd.
Yeah, there was a moment earlier where Forrest put the cross in from the right hand side, and actually had a half chance 6 yards out to him. Didn't quite get hold of that. He was under pressure from the defender. But there was a situation shortly after that I just thought suggested, look, he is back. He has got that sharpness. It was Edouard who he linked up with. Edouard peeled off the right, hit the ball towards the near post, and it was just that kind of run that strikers, when they're instinctive, they make. He gets across the defender. He a little bit unlucky because he doesn't quite control it, but I just thought the instinct is still there. The sharpness is still there.
I've been watching him closely. There's nothing wrong with his pace. He's still got the pace. He's still got the sharpness. He can read it. He was a bit unlucky with a deflection later on in the half. You look at Lee Griffiths, his last competitive goal last November.
Yeah,
that's an awful long time for a guy who's used to scoring goals.
Well, he scored one this evening, and you sense that as long as he stays on the park, there will be further opportunities for the Scotland striker. Celtic cruising. Ayer, Christie, Griffiths. Christie from the penalty spot. 3-0 for Celtic against Nomme Kalju in the Betfred Cup. Group A, Hearts 0, Stennismuir 0. Group B, Ross County 1-4 for Neil Brian Graham. St Johnstone 2, Brecon City 0. Scott Tanger's penalty, and then Chris Kane. Group F, Airdronians 0, Queen's Park 1, Kieran Summers. And Partick Thistle 1, Clyde 1. Shea Gordon for Partick Thistle. Tony Wallace with the equaliser for Clyde. Celtic, of course, having to make that change earlier in the half with the injury to Bolingoli. They'll be hoping that's not too serious. He went off with about 8 or 9 minutes before half time. Mikey Johnson coming on, and the visitors are making a change down below as number 21 coming off for them, Peter Klein, to be replaced by Max Mata for the visitors from Estonia. Second half about to get up and running. 3-0 Celtic, live here on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland with John Hughes, Pat Bonner and Liam McLeod.
Yeah, that change just been made. New Zealander Max Mata, who's on loan from Grasshoppers in Switzerland, made his debut in the 1-1 draw at the weekend. Comes on, he is a striker, on for a striker, and it is Nomme Kalju in their pink shirts, black shorts, pink socks. Celtic. It's easy for me to say, eh? It's not the most difficult word I've tried to say, but there you go. You know, they can always come back and bite you at some point, all of them. Anyway, Celtic green and white hoops, white shorts, green socks, going right to left, attacking the Jock Stein stand in. Apologies. Celtic in possession of the ball on the right hand side with Jose Simunovic. Made that change in the first half when they had to bring on Mikey Johnston for Bolingoli. But apart from that, it's the same players being in goal. Ayer, Beaton, Simunovic, a back three with Johnston and Forrest either side. Brown, McGregor and Christie behind Griffiths and Edouard. Lee Griffiths, who has just moved into fourth spot in the all-time European scorer list for Celtic, as Johnston comes forward and shoots just outside the box, saved low to the right by Londak and behind for the corner. You just feel Celtic can score more and more, as many as they want tonight almost. 3-0 it is.
Lima's great play, great one-touch passing almost from the halfway line up and between Christie, Edward and eventually young Johnson. And here's the corner coming in.
And it's flicked half away to the edge of the box. It's Forrest on the volley, caught it well, held on to the near post by Pavel Londak. Continues in goal. They've got Markovic, Uji the Italian, Avilov, Kunitis on the left hand side. Power, Alidor, who looked decent in the first half by and large. Subatin and Puri recovered from that knock earlier on, and it's a front two now of Mata and Lilu, who has not had a sniff. Throwing Celtic deep inside their own half, which Johnston's going to take. Although he's just going to leave it, I think, there to Christopher Ayer, the Norwegian who scored Celtic's first goal. Huge one, 9 minutes before half time, and it just settled them. And they went on to score the penalty and the free kick after that. And as I was saying, Griffiths was joint 5th all-time European scorer for Celtic until he scored that one. That's moved him onto 14 European goals. He's now ahead of Samaras, Wallace and Chalmers. He's now level with Lennox, 2 behind Sutton and Johnston now, 21 behind Larsson. Long way to go to catch Celtic's legendary Swede. 3 minutes into the second half here. 3-0 Celtic, and it's now with Ayer who gets it from McGregor. Right foot, side foot pass out to Johnston on this left flank. Infield to McGregor, back to Brown, first time to Ayer. And it's movement from Johnston on the touchline, or towards the touchline. Instead he goes back to Brown, and now it's Beaton. John Hughes, what's Neil Lennon's message to his players at that half-time interval?
Keep the back door shut, don't give them a sniff, keep the pressure on them, keep the tempo up, but most important, keep a clean sheet. And see if we can get more goals. Be patient, nothing stupid in terms of tackling or all that stuff, and the goals will come.
Edouard on the edge of the box, tried to feed it into the path there of McGregor. It was cut out and cleared. Centre circle, Beaton just knocking it to his left for Ayer, stretching his legs across halfway. Now at the midway point of the Kalju half on this near side. Infield to McGregor, up against Alidor. Now it's with Johnston, skips away from 2, moving to the left hand side of the box. He's in the area, he's at the byline, he wins the corner.
Yeah, as I said in that first half, he's got that ability. He can take on 1, 2, 3 players and has got the skill to go past him, and he wins his corner for his team that time. Celtic have started off this second half really, really sharp, I've got to say.
And they've got this corner which Griffiths is going to take on this near side, main stand side. Celtic attack the goal to the left. It's a low delivery to the edge of the area. Not sure that's what he was intending. Breaks to McGregor, but he's back close at the centre circle in the edge of the box. He finds Johnston, and it's all the way back to Scott Bain, who's not really had a save of a note to make tonight. One nervy moment earlier as Griffiths is flagged offside on that far side. So the winners of this one will play Cluj or Maccabi Tel Aviv. That finished 1-0 to the Romanians, who are in a decent position, having not conceded an away goal ahead of their trip to Israel next week. But we know, of course, it will be a step up for Celtic, who will now surely see this job through. 3-0 up 5 minutes into the second half. Kenny Miller has scored for Partick Thistle. Not sure if that's his second goal for Partick Thistle. He's put them back in front, and they are now 2-1 up across the city here in Glasgow against Clyde after the Bullyweed got back to 1-1. Puri for Kalju shoots, it's well passed, and that will go behind for the goal kick to Celtic. 3-0 they are in the driving seat as Bain rolls it to his right for Smunovic. Forward to Brown. He was under pressure from Subitin. He simply turns away from him, goes the other way, and passes it out to Smunovic, or to Ayer rather, on this near side, and out to the touchline for Johnston. Johnston moving up towards the left angle of the Kalju box, finds Edouard. Now it's Christie on the left foot. He shoots, it's saved by Londak down to his right. There's loads more goals in this if Celtic want it, though, you can tell.
Yeah, that was a good attempt by Christie, but it was a little bit greedy there because James Forrest had just given him a blast. It was on when it got laid from Edouard, the edge of the box. It was on to slot Forrest in the inside right position.
44 teams in Champions League qualifying, looking for 6 Champions League group stage places. The arithmetic is not great when it comes to sides having to come through all these qualifying matches. 26 berths have already been sealed due to the automatic qualifying for the big divisions, so to speak. It's Puri on the edge of the Celtic box in the turn. Missing is out and cleared by Christie and out for a throw-in. 4 clubs come through the Champions route, which Celtic are of course part of. Another 2 come through the league route, which, if you remember back before the Champions route, Celtic had to play Arsenal in the playoff stage of for the Champions League. That of course does not happen anymore, so in theory it's a simpler task than having to play some of the teams who finish 4th in the leagues out with the big 4, right enough, but you're still talking about the likes of the French division. As Griffiths collects on that right hand side, attempted pass is cut out, breaks to Alidor. He's going to get it back here, quick 1-2 and up towards the halfway line as he checks his run. Griffiths tracking back. He's got the hunger, hasn't he, Lee Griffiths? Neil Lennon waited till he was ready, till he was 100% ready, but just one look at Lee Griffiths tonight, 52.5 minutes in, 3-0. He's got his goal from the free kick, but you can see he is hungry to make up for lost time.
Yeah, absolutely. But what Celtic can't do now is get a little bit complacent here.
Yeah.
They started off the half very, very well, and it's been easy for them at the moment. But I can see this team getting a little bit more possession in the last 5 minutes or so. And what they don't want to do is lose a silly goal to put themselves under pressure. They have this tie well and truly in the bag, but they just don't want to give away a silly goal.
Yeah, the deal all but sealed in the first 45 minutes of the tie. Ayer's under pressure though. Lilu putting the pressure on, but he's put it behind for the goal kick. He was half-heartedly looking for a corner, but it will be a goal kick.
Yeah,
Queen's Park have levelled against Airdrieonians in the Betfred Cup. Nat Wedderburn has scored the goal for the Diamonds. 1-1. It is Excelsior. 3-0 it is to Celtic in Champions League second qualifying round, first leg. Action here on Sports Sound this Wednesday evening. Europa League to come tomorrow. And will tell you when the goals go in those League Cup group stage matches, penultimate matches for those clubs. Here comes Edouard to the edge of the box. Edouard right footed wide of the left post with a low effort. Might have been better going for the other corner. He tried to catch the keeper out by reversing it to the bottom left. Goal kick, Celtic 3, Kalju 0 on 54.
Yeah, but it was wonderful play from McGregor and Christie initially to set the opportunity up for Edward, who got himself into that almost number 10 position, open up on his first touch. The run then from Griffiths to take people away and create the space, and then he just dragged it wide of the right hand post. Good play from Celtic.
Griffiths up to joint 4th all-time European goal scorer pack. No mean feat, albeit you would have to say the likes of Willie Wallace, Stevie Chalmers weren't having to play Nomme, Kalju or Lincoln Redimps.
Yeah, that's a big difference. It's very difficult to compare because there wasn't so many games.
Still a fine achievement though, isn't
brilliant
it?
Brilliant achievement, and there's more there for him also. You did mention about Larson being 21. Is it 21 in the lead?
Yes.
From
Griffiths,
yeah, from Griffiths. But if Griffiths keeps playing in the team, I think there will be more goals, European goals for him, hopefully this season.
I'll be fancying them tonight. Edouard wins the free kick. I don't know how long Neil Lennon will leave Griffiths on the pitch for. He did say before when we're talking to him 60-70 minutes perhaps. Here comes Celtic, quick free kick. McGregor in the box, he shoots now. Saved again from Londak, though McGregor can catch the ball a heck of a lot better than he did there. It stays at 3-0. Played 10 second half minutes, but they're carving open opportunities on a relentless basis since the interval. Celtic, as Simunovic does some defending and he passes it back to Bain, who begins the season as number 1 here at Celtic Park. A fit again, Craig Gordon among the Celtic subs this evening. They've already brought on Johnston. They also have Julien, Sinclair, Hayes, Morgan and Ncham. Here comes Johnston on the left, skipping in field towards the angle of the box, finds Edouard, couldn't find Christie, cleared by Kalju. It's Ayer, short ball to McGregor. Left-footed ball towards the edge of the box, might fall Griffiths' way. Griffiths bundles it back to Christie, shoots with the right foot, saved by the goalkeeper. Neil Lennon bounces in frustration. He thought it was about to go to 4-0. It stays at 3-0 at Celtic Park.
Yeah, all the shots the goalkeepers have got to deal with it. They're easy saves at the moment. They're not right in the corner. They're almost down either right or left within maybe a yard and a half of him, and he's able to get down quickly. He's an experienced goalkeeper. He's been around, very good technically, but you want to see those shots right in the corner to make him actually have to stretch.
He was once upon a time at Rosenborg, played in the Champions League qualifiers there, made his senior football debut in May 1998. Scotland were qualified for major finals when he made his debut, rather Londak, between the sticks for the Estonian champions. Beaton, short ball to his right for Simunovic. And down the line for Forrest. As clicks on to 57 minutes on the big scoreboards. The sun now only really in the top deck of the Lisbon Line stand to the right. The supporters there shielding their eyes. Late evening sunshine. Here's McGregor trying to thread it through, cut out well there though by Markovic. Brown winning it back in the middle of the park there from Sander Fury. He was magnificent in the away leg against Sarajevo, Scott Brown, and really dictated play in that game when Celtic eventually got going. I think Lewis Morgan's getting ready to come on for the home team as McGregor does well, turns into the path of Johnston. He's in the box, across towards the back post, the low ball. Griffiths had a tap in. It would have been 4-0 had it not been for Kilnitis, who was guarding the back stick. Griffiths was waiting for the tap in to an empty net. It stays Celtic 3, Kalju 0 on 58.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. It's Lewis Morgan going to come on. I'm just wondering who the one that will be sacrificed. Might be Griffiths. Lenny did say he would get about 60 minutes. I'm just looking there, so it could be him. I hope he gets a little bit longer.
Yeah, it could also be Christie because he's been booked.
It might be Christie because he's been booked.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out right now. Martin Dowden.
Yeah, it does look as though it will be Lee Griffiths, and wait for the ovation that he will receive from these supporters right now. A fabulous goal just before half-time. Griffiths back in the fold. Lewis Morgan coming on to replace him.
It's good to see. It's really good to see. And he's getting a standing ovation from the Celtic supporters, and rightly so. An all-action 60 minutes, almost 60 minutes for Griffiths, who has grabbed goal number 105 in a Celtic shirt. He had to wait a long time for it. Lewis Morgan comes on, a man who is an important season ahead, having been on loan at Sunderland last campaign. Looked lively when he came on in Bosnia 2 weeks ago, Packy.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's
started last week, didn't he, in the second leg?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Celtic can almost play in that three at the back, and they're asking, unorthodox full backs, more wingers to play that sort of kind of wide wing back position.
Is this something Neil Lennon's planning on using throughout the season, or is it because he realises that this side that they're up against is quite limited?
No, I think, to be honest, because of the personnel that he has available, I couldn't see him in the bigger games going with the likes of Mikey Johnson, for example, or Lewis Morgan in those wing back positions. He'll need to get his full backs in there, or obviously Tierney can play there, Bolingoli can play there, but it's the right back position. Was this new player coming in now? We don't know what he's made of.
Lovely ball, good interchange between him and Edouard. It's McGregor, left hand side of the box, he's in it now. His attempted shot is blocked. It breaks favourably there for the visitors of the Alidor, and Nomme Kalju can clear up towards the halfway line. Underneath it's Ayer. Then Johnston wants the free kick, so does his manager. It's not coming his way. As Kalju come forward, it's knocked back there by the substitute Mata. Ayer has made a mess of that, kind of flicked it up onto his stomach. It's bounced back in favour of Kalju. In the box it's Mata. He couldn't get the ball dug out from under his feet, and Celtic able to come away with it on the counter here. It's McGregor rolling it through to James Forrest, who's got loads of space here. Moving towards the box, threads it through to Edouard, right footed, shot saved, flags up anyway. Celtic 3, Kalju 0 on 60 minutes. We're on the hour.
Yeah, that was a great move from Celtic. Got played into Forrest, laid it back, played bad into Forrest in midfield, took it on the turn, and I'm just watching Edouard. He's just bent a wee run, but just run a yard offside. Forrest slipped it into him down the side, had a shot, goalkeeper save, but unfortunately offside.
He just would like to get that other goal, wouldn't he? Just to put this tie beyond doubt.
Well, I want to see another goal, Packy, because I want to see Julian. I want to see him get an introduction. I want to see him in the flesh. I want to see him play. And if they get the other goal, that might be the case.
And that's a booking for Simonovic, isn't it?
Yeah. As he's been yellow carded, he was sent off in the first qualifying round last year against Alashkert early on in the second leg here.
Did he get booked not first? Oh no, it was Ayer, I think, got booked in the Sarajevo game.
It was Ayer, yeah. I'll run you through the Betfred Cup score lines in a moment. There has been another goal, which I'll get to in just a moment. Kalju have a free kick over on that far side. In fact, they made a complete mess of that. Shea Gordon scored again. Partick Thistle 3, Clyde 1 in the League Cup group stage, Group F. Airdrieonians 1, Queen's Park 1 also in that group. In Group B, Ross County leading 1-0. Ryan Graham's early goal against Forfar. 2-0 St Johnstone against Brecon City. Hearts still 0-0 with Stenhousemuir. And it's a very interesting group. If Hearts don't win that game, Dundee United would be on 7 points, and Hearts and East Fife on 6. United have played all 4 of their games, so they're playing a waiting game. Hearts go to Bayview on Saturday. Coverage of that on Sports Sound, as well as the Europa League games tomorrow evening in the second qualifying round of that competition. In the second qualifying round of this competition, the Champions League, 3-0 Celtic, who have a free kick midway inside Kalju territory on the right, in front of the north stand. 62.5 minutes played. It's taken short there. Christie has it to Brown, back to Christie. It's the right angle of the box on the overlap. The low ball across there from Morgan's cut out, and Kalju will to clear up towards halfway. They lose the only man in the pink shirt up in that echelon of the pitch, and Celtic able to clear with ease out for a throw-in to Kalju over on that far side. It's Neil Lennon's mindset that he wants Celtic to score another couple tonight.
Yeah, I think he would be delighted to be able to go out there relaxed and
he might get another one here potentially here. Packy is Forrest on the edge of the box looking for space to shoot. He does, and again it's right at the goalkeeper Londak who holds on. Celtic 3, Kalju 0.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to beat that goalkeeper. I could be wrong, but with those type of shots, he's very, very good technically. He gets his body behind things, his hands behind it, good safe hands. Just I'd like to see him just bend them balls round about him to see if he has the agility as a 39-year-old to get down to it.
Yeah, need to be down in the corners. I just got a feeling again that the goal's coming. They're peppering, they're on the front foot. They're having numerous chances, and the goal will come. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Kalju in their 9th successive season in European football, knocked out at the first hurdle last year by Stjarnan of Iceland. Their best performance in Europe was getting to the playoff stage of the Europa League before they lost to the Ukrainian side Dnipropetrovsk. Here's Forrest towards the edge of the box, finds Edouard, couldn't quite return the favour. Edouard wins it back off the defender though. It's back to goal, feeding it to Johnston, knocking it to Christie. Can he get there first on the slide? He's got it to Morgan. Morgan's right hand side of the box, cutting it back towards the penalty spot. It's clear, only half away. It's Christie, he shoots, it's outstanding! It's an outstanding number 4 for Celtic, and Ryan Christie pulls off yet another spectacular goal in the green and white hoops to score Celtic's 4th of the evening and make next week's return in Tallinn a mere formality. It is Celtic 4, Nomme Kalju 0. Easy as you like.
Well, the man sitting beside me called it, haven't you, John? You said it was coming. And what a strike. What a brilliant strike. We were talking about bending those balls round the goalkeeper. That was done with absolutely aplomb. Brilliant strike with his left foot.
It's a magnificent curling finish from Ryan Christie. Top left, something John Hughes must have watched time and time again in training when they were both at Inverness.
Yeah,
magnificent.
That's what I'm saying. He comes out here and everything, what a wonderful goal. But it does that, Liam, trust me, that's the kind of goals he scores in training. You know, he dips that right shoulder, comes on his left foot and just whips him. And there, that was a perfect example. Great goal. Now I'm just, when the goal went in, I was looking down at the bench and seeing John Kennedy and Neil Lennon in discussion. You know, I'm hoping that now we get a chance to see the big centre back, Christopher Julian.
There's activity down there, so we'll go to Martin to get news of that as soon as it becomes apparent who is coming on.
Yeah, there's certainly someone getting changed on the bench.
3-2 for Hill. Bit of a thriller there, 5 goals. Partick Thistle now 3-2 up on Clyde. The Bully Wave pulled one back, and it's an own goal from Stuart Bannigan in Group F. Gordonians 1-1 with Queen's Park. St Johnstone 2-0 up on Brechin in Group B, already out of course. Ross County 1-0 up on Forfar, also in Group B, continuing their 100% start to the season. Get to John at Tynecastle in a moment to get an update on that Hearts Dennis Muir game, still 0-0 last we heard. Here comes Celtic, Johnston, shot, saved well by Londak, threw himself to his left, and out it goes for the throw into Celtic. Skendia were simply profligate, as well as the goalkeeper being magnificent. Otherwise they could have really given Nomme Kalju a pounding which Celtic are giving them, and make no mistake here into the final quarter of the first leg. Cross ball comes in from the right, it bounces and bobbles away from Johnston, who's managed to keep it in play. Excellently done. He's at the corner flag, he's now moving towards the box on the byline, but runs into trouble, and it's cleared by Markovic. Brown winning it back for Celtic, and it's now with Simunovic. Martin Dowden can tell us which Celtic players coming on, their final change.
Yeah, it does appear to be Olivier Ncham that's coming on. Of course, he had those controversial comments in the close season. Interesting to see the reaction he gets. Not sure who he's coming on for, but I'm afraid we won't see Julien.
Not tonight. Although Neil Lennon told us before, if they're in a comfortable position, he might be starting in Tallinn next week. So, Packy, you're travelling to Estonia next week. You will probably get your first look at Christopher Julien next midweek.
He might not play next week now. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm shocked that he's not giving me a little run out. I don't see this team now in any way, shape or form threatening Celtic too much. It's about just getting him a feel of the pitch, getting him into the atmosphere and so on. Just get him on the pitch. It's not going to happen.
You don't think he'll play next week?
It's a big shout now, and you know, from that perspective, you know, I know they're 4-0 up and all that, but why not?
You can't spend £7 million on someone and not.
Why not bring him on here? Why not bring him on here? Give him a little run of it.
Here comes Celtic again. Cross ball from the right with the right foot from Morgan. Too high for Edouard, and picked up by Johnston. He has looked really good since coming on. He's got 21 minutes to play. Celtic 4-0 up, and they are strolling down Easy Street. And to a place in the third qualifying, and here they come again. There's a shot from Morgan which is blocked up into the air. Edouard trying to pluck it out of the Glasgow skies. It dropped down to his right foot, couldn't really control, and Londak flops down onto it. Celtic 4, Kalju 0 on 69 minutes here at Parkhead. And Olivier Ncham waits to come on. Paddy Bonner.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, from a level of competition and how teams can almost. I know they've done well to get to the stage, Kalju, to get through the last round, but Celtic are so far ahead of them, to almost force Celtic to go into 4 qualifying rounds. It's quite incredible, isn't it, John?
Yeah, definitely. You can see the difference in standing there. And it was only a matter of Celtic getting that first goal. Once you got the first one, the second one, you can see their spirits going. And there's more goals here for Celtic tonight.
Johnston on the left, back to the edge of the box for Christie, finds Brown. The left angle of the area, short ball to McGregor. Break the way of Christie, outside of the left boot, flashes it out to that right hand side for Morgan. Space now to attack Kulnitis on that right hand side. Low ball into the box is cleared pretty easily in the end there by Uche. And now going after it on that right flank again is Morgan, passing it back to McGregor to the right angle of the box, and it's James Forrest dropping the shoulder, right foot, across it goes, not quite, as that came across into the 6-yard area. Edouard was at the back post. It was Christie at the near post. Neither could get anything onto it, and out it goes.
Just looking at the reception, what reception Ncham will get, Liam. I'm hoping he gets a real good reception coming on.
Ncham. Well, first of all, there's a terrific reception for Celtic's 2-goal hero. He scored last week as well, Ryan Christie, as you can hear in the background.
You've got to say, Liam, he was wonderful tonight. Man of the match by a mile.
Yeah, that was mixed, by the way, for Ncham. Mixed reaction. John Barnes at Tynecastle watching Hearts so far failing to notch against Steny.
Yeah, 74 minutes played, Liam, and they're all over Stenhousemuir. They've been queuing up to have shots at goal. In fact, they had 4 shots within the space of about 5 seconds. McDonald, Washington, Walker and Bozanic, and they were all blocked, and then they've had to make a couple of changes as well. They made a double substitution. They brought on Ikpeazu and Mulroney, and within 2 minutes of them being on, Connor Washington picked up an eye injury, so Aidan Keena is on. So Craig Levein has made his 3 changes already, but it's still 0-0. Stenhousemuir holding firm.
Last year's beaten Scottish Cup finalists, and as I said earlier, it's going to make for an intriguing final day, as Ross County go 2-0 up against Forfar in Group B. Brian Graham's got his second. Hearts in Group A, and Group A and the rest of them drawing to climax Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Full coverage on Sports Sound. And Callum Hendry scored St Johnstone's third in their final group match in the League Cup against Beacon City at McDermott. Here at Celtic Park, Scottish champions 4-0 up, 72 minutes played. They're looking for a 5th here, and it comes. Chip ball for Edwards, headed away by Uche, and now it's with Brown, who finds Forrest in a central area. He shoots with the right foot, plenty behind it, looking for that top right corner. And it goes well wide in the end, and it stays at 4-0. James Forrest looking to get in on the act as well.
Yeah, Neil Lenny's been talking about where he can play Forrest. He was out obviously in his natural position wide right. Now he's put him in the Christie position behind the striker up there with Edward, and they can play in there as well and link it and come in there.
Nomme Kalju lost in Iceland to Stjarnan last year. That's their only away defeat in almost 2 years of football. 2 calendar years, going back to the middle of August 2017. That was their last away league defeat. And they've come here and they've been battered into submission by this Celtic team.
Completely different level, Liam, tonight. The movement, the passing, the energy from Celtic too has been exceptional this so early in the season. So they'll be very, very happy with what the performance that they've put in here tonight.
2 goals in a couple of minutes. St Johnstone now 4-0 up on Brechin City. And as Matty Kennedy's got, it's not going to help them a whole lot though. heading out of the tournament. And Airdrie are now 2-1 down to Queen's Park. Spiders coming from behind to lead 2-1 there. Also in the group stage of the League Cup. Nomme Kalju looking to make a change. Celtic looking to score a fifth. Morgan with a low ball into the box is cut out. It's to Uche, plays it out to that left hand side for Kulnitis. Out it goes for a Celtic throw in, but they're going to make the change first here. Are the visitors. They're going to bring on a right winger in Alexander Volkov, the former Estonia youth international. There's been a goal at Tynecastle. Now I wonder who this is for, given the pressure. Hearts against Steny. John Barnes.
It's for Stenhousemuir, and it's come in the 77th minute, and it's Mark McGuigan who's on the score sheet there. They were on the counter-attack. Hopkirk played it wide to Cook on the left-hand side, and he curled in a good ball which McGuigan got a flick to at the near post beyond Lamal. It's Hearts 0, Stenhousemuir 1.
Mark McGuigan, well, he scored at Pittodrie last season in the Scottish Cup. He scores at Tynecastle in the League Cup, and Hearts' hopes of qualifying for the last 16 of the competition, a couple of weekends' time, certainly in doubt now, as Morgan's cross is poor. It's high, pumped over the bar. Goal kick, Nomme Kalju. 15 minutes of this first leg still to play, and Celtic 4-0 up. The Estonian champions would gladly get back to Glasgow Airport and head back to Estonia right now without the need for these last 15 minutes. Doesn't work like that though. Celtic still looking to add to the goal tally ahead of their trip there next midweek. But Packy, it's not often in these qualifying matches. Neil Lennon has always spoken of the stress of these. He says he can't really enjoy them. Surely this is an exception to that rule.
Yeah, he can enjoy his trip to Tallinn, there's no question about that. It's on the main stadium, also a good stadium for them. Grass pitch, Liam?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so they'll go out there to enjoy themselves. I think they're well ahead this year. I'm looking at their fitness levels, the movement, the sharpness. They're in good shape at the moment to move on in this competition. But you never know. You just never know how they react mentally when you come up against the big boys, and who that will be. We will know the next round, but we won't know thereafter.
It was a struggle against Rosenborg last year, wasn't it? A narrow aggregate victory. Here comes Olivier Ncham up towards the edge of the box. McGregor sizes up the goal. It's magnificent again. Left-footed arrow into the bottom right-hand corner, across the goalkeeper, and Celtic are doing the high fives. And little wonder they have hit 5 tonight in this first leg. Celtic 5, Nomme Kalju 0.
It's just coming to McGregor. Everything at Celtic's has been right at the goalkeeper. This one's right out the laces, lasered right in the bottom corner, right across the goalkeeper. No chance. What a strike, what a goal.
He's an exceptional striker of the balls. And we talk about Griffiths, we talk about Christie and McGregor. They are just so in control of what he was doing across the ball, as you say, with the laces, John. Accuracy right in the corner. Goalkeeper no chance.
Callum McGregor's 7th European goal for Celtic, adding to the one he scored against Sarajevo last week. And another wonderful finish. You just knew it was going in. As soon as he hit it with the left boot, you knew it was going in to that bottom reverse corner. And Celtic have 5 goals to take to Estonia, and there's still time for more. There's still 12 and a half minutes to play. You're making a real mess of the Estonians here, that is for sure. McGregor's in again, just wide on this occasion as he looked for the top left corner this time. Stays at 5-0.
Yeah, that's McGregor again. That great one, that give and go. You get it, you fire into the striker, follow your pass. Great layoff by Edward and McGregor. Try to wrap his left foot around it, just past the post.
There will be a goal kick then to Kalju. Just a reminder, Hearts have gone behind to Stenhousemuir in Group A in the League Cup. Hearts 0, Stenhousemuir 1. Ross County 2-0 up on Forfar. St Johnstone 4-0 up on Brechin in Group B. In F, Airdrieonians 1, Queen's Park 2, and Partick Thistle 3, Clyde 2. Earlier in this competition, CFR Cluj beat Maccabi Tel Aviv 1-0 in Romania to take an advantage to Israel The winner of that plays the winner of this, who will be Celtic. Here's Morgan to the edge of the Kalju box for Edouard. It's nicked off him by Uji, the Italian who skippers Nomme Kalju. There's Johnston on this near side level with the edge of the centre circle, just losing out though. He breaks to Simunovic though in his own half, central area. He finds Brown, he finds Ayer, who scored the first. And 36 minutes, not quite frustration for Celtic in those opening 36 minutes, but they hadn't managed to break through a stubborn Kalju rearguard, in particular the goalkeeper Londak. It's Celtic in possession on the right. There's been another goal at Tynecastle. Hearts had just gone 1-0 down to Steny. John Barnes.
It's an equaliser for Hearts in the 82nd minute. It's Craig Halkett on the score sheet. Corner kick swung in by Clare. It was missed by Uche Ikpeazu. It dropped to Halkett and he blasted it low beyond Graham Smith. It's Hearts 1, Stenhousemuir 1.
I think he'll be a good signing for Hearts, Craig Halkett. He was terrific for Livingston last season. I want to say a great signing. In defence, that is. It's notched for Hearts. He's managed to score another one earlier in the infancy of the campaign as the clearance from the goalkeeper Londak goes out for a throw into Celtic. Into the north stand goes the ball as we go into the final 10 minutes here at Celtic Park in this Champions League second qualifying round, first leg. If only they were all this simple for Scotland's champions.
We could have some nice easy trips, Liam. No pressure on. But it's maybe the talent trip will be the best one we've had for a while.
Don't you get used to that this packet, that's for sure. Cluj, Maccabi Tel Aviv, and then there's some European football beasts awaiting in the playoff stage. Not of the top level, but still big clubs. As Morgan comes down that right hand side, it's back with Ncham. Short ball to Brown on the edge of the penalty area, passing it to McGregor, getting it back, first time on the outside of the boot, looking for Edouard. Little misunderstanding. I think Edouard was expecting the ball into feet there, and he was behind for the goal kick. Celtic 5, Nomme Kalju 0 on 81 minutes, and it looks as though Nomme Kalju may be facing a Europa League third qualifying round tie against Skendia, who they've just beaten in the Champions League first qualifying round. So the Macedonians, North Macedonians as it is these days, will have a chance for some quick fire revenge should they deal with Dudelange of Luxembourg. That was if Celtic were to slip up in this tie, who they would have faced in the next stage of Europa League.
That's pretty strange. Has that ever happened before?
I'm sure it has.
Knocked out and then you go and play the same team again in the Europa League.
I'm sure it has.
It's incredible.
But it's the nature of the beast these days, isn't it? How Celtic played Rosenborg more often last season than they played Hamilton or any of the bottom six sides, I think. It's the way it goes. Even at the top level, the Champions League, how often have you seen Barcelona PSG, Chelsea PSG, those kind of fixtures? You see them all the time. Celtic desperate to be part of that this season. It's with Johnston, he finds Brown. Your Ionians have levelled through Callum Gallagher against Queen's Park 2-2 in the League Cup Group F. Your Ionians coming from behind again, and here is Avilov for Nomme Kalju, rolled out to this near side for Andrei Markovic. Lovely ball from Lilu, finds Volkov, right hand side of the Celtic box. Cross comes off Beaton, and Nomme Kalju have their first corner of the match on 82.5 minutes, staring down the barrel of a 5-0 defeat right now against the Scottish champions, who have dominated from start to finish.
Yeah, it was good play though, down the right hand side. Again, a little ball played into the striker and played first time down the channel for the number 20 who's just come on the pitch. I'm trying to get his name here, I don't have it, Liam, but anyway, it was good, and they have definitely won their first corner.
It's going to be taken on this near side by Sander Puri, and it comes too high for everyone. Looks back to Lilu on the edge of the penalty area. He's forced back the way there by Ncham, still in play down the left flank and giving chase. After that one is the substitute Volkov, but he can't get there, and it was behind for the goal kick on 83 minutes. We'll have post-match reaction to come from Neil Lennon. He must be purring down there as Nomme Kalju prepare to make a change on Lilu, who has a magnificent goal scoring record. I said he's got 31-30 appearances last season He's got 9 goals this campaign in total for the club. This is his 81st game for Nomme Kalju, and he's scored 61 coming into this. And he has been replaced by Nikolai Mashichev, who will just go into the same position as the man he's just replaced performs in. There's the number 9, playing both wings, play better on the left hand side. He's been at Nomme Kalju for a long time. He's not used to losing 5-0. 84 minutes played, 5-0 it is to Celtic. Mashichev has it on this near side with his first touch of the ball, rolling it down the right flank. It's going to be with Makiewicz, who's under pressure from McGregor, who wins it back, trying to defend up against 2 Nomme Kalju players and winning the throw, in fact winning the free kick down by the corner flag. Celtic 5, Kalju 0, 84.5 minutes played. Hearts were trailing against Stenhousemuir through Mark McGuigan's goal. They equalised through Craig Halkett. There's been another goal at Tynecastle going into the last few minutes of the game in the capital. Who's it for, John Barnes?
It's for Hearts, and it's Craig Halkett's second of the evening. He's been pushed forward into a striker's role for the last few minutes, and he was up in the air there with a fine header from a Mulroney cross from the left hand side, beating Graham Smith. It's now Hearts 2, Stenhousemuir 1.
The battle of the Maroons there. The Jam Tarts 2-1 up on the Warriors, 2 for Halkett, 2 for Hearts. Hearts 2, Stenhousemuir 1 in the group stage of the League Cup. Of course, all the European representatives will join in for the last 16, which is 3 weeks this weekend, I think. It's 2 weekends of the league action to be played before the League Cup. Of course, that round played at a weekend these days. Anyway, Celtic cruising towards a victory here, 5-0 up. It's Olivier Cham coming forward, rolling it with the left foot out wide right. It goes to Morgan. Cross ball comes in, and it's a decent ball as well, but there's nobody wanted to attack it on the 6-yard line. Forrest, one of the smallest players on the pitch, was probably the wrong man on the pitch to be in that position. They would have rather Edouard was there, but it's behind for a goal kick. 4 to play of the 90, 5-0 to Celtic.
Yeah, it's interesting with Lewis Morgan's come on the pitch. He must have thrown in at least about 10 crosses. That time it was with his left foot, but normally with his right foot. But he's been given that role out on the right hand side. But most of his plays, every single time he gets the ball, he's looking to put a cross in. He's delivered 10. Nothing's come of them, but that's different. Kind of almost a different type of player.
It's great with Morgan and Johnston. The two of them want to get the ball and go to the defenders and take them on. And as you say, Morgan is getting the crosses. Johnston's more of a dribbler, but the two of them are great legs with great pace. So, you know, the future's bright for Celtic with these young boys round about the club.
And Celtic heading for their biggest European victory since they stuck 5 past Astana a couple of seasons ago. And Cham's been robbed by his countryman Alidor, who's coming forward, and he's got Puri off to his left, moves it to his right instead. It's with Volkov. He's in the Celtic box as they look for an away goal, which would just be consolation. The ball's cut back, Brown reads it well and then loses it. It's poked towards goal, it's just wide. It was just knocked from about left hand side of the penalty spot. Mashichev was involved. Not sure if it was he who got the final touch. It was either he or Subitin, the midfielder. It's gone wide of the left hand post with 3 to play. Celtic 5, Nomme Kalju 0.
Don't take the gloss of it.
To play.
Sorry, Liam. Don't take the gloss of it by losing a goal at this late stage. It used to really annoy me when we were way ahead in games and we'd lose a goal.
But even for your own self-pride, being a goalkeeper and being a defender, you pride yourself on clean sheets, Packy, you know.
Celtic can score another one. It'll be their biggest European victory since they beat Sudevat in 2002 in the old UEFA Cup, and they got a chance here with Johnston inside the Kalju box. He wins the corner with about 2 minutes to play of the 90 in a 5-0 lead.
Johnston reminds me of McGeady, the way his technical ability, the way he can go at players, dip the shoulder, drag back, step overs, double step overs, left and right foot.
Better end product even, maybe.
Yeah, lovely footballer, eh?
It's that flashy footwork, isn't it? McGeady had in spades. And he broke through. In comes the corner from Morgan. It's punched away by the goalkeeper. Breaks out to Forrest on that far side. He's going to let it go out for a throw-in to Celtic as Neil Lennon comes to the edge of his technical area and tells Cham to just move back into a more defensive posting here with Celtic up the pitch. And they've lost it on that far side. The long ball forwards cut out there. It was up towards Mata. Brown wins it back. Square ball to Olivier Cham. And now it's Edouard. Poor touch from Oddson Edouard, who hasn't been in amongst the goals tonight.
He can keep them for the next round. That's what I would say. Keep the goals. He's the one that'll come up with it on the big occasions with a big goal.
Cham to Brown, level with the edge of the circle in the Kalju half. Short ball to his left for Olivier Cham again. It's out left hand side for Johnston. He'll win another corner off of Masichev on this near side. Celtic left. A couple of goals in the second half, 3 in the first. We're about to find out what the injury time is going to be. I think 3 minutes are going to be added on by the sounds of things. The Celtic look for a 6th. We've got a corner to try and tee that up here. Johnston and Morgan over the corner. It's a short one by Johnston to Morgan. He rolls it to Cham. He's outside the box, going to be an angled ball curled in on top of the goalkeeper, who lets it go behind for the goal kick. A round of applause from Neil Lennon. He was happy with at least the effort there. We played the 90 minutes. The injury time is just about to be confirmed down below us as 3 minutes. There it is. Celtic 5, Kalju 0. And it's all been a bit of a breeze for the Scottish champions.
Yeah, once you get that first goal, I think that's always the case against these smaller opposition. If you can score the right time also, and then second, third before half time, just kill the game off. But Celtic, when they came out of half time, they were really, really, really sharp, and I think they haven't allowed the tempo to go down at all in this game.
No, they've been at it as well. Started, as you say, Packy, right out the trap, second half, and really put this game to bed. You know, the game is over, and all they need to do now is see it out, keep a clean sheet, be very professional.
Lee Griffiths sponsors man of the match, John.
Yeah. I don't agree with that. I think it's Ryan Christie for me, but I know why they've gave him it, and I'm absolutely delighted for him.
I think Ryan Christie would quite happily step aside. Fury with a free kick for the Estonian champions. Meantime, into the Celtic box. It's cleared, and now Forrest got it wide right for Celtic with Morgan. And Cham is the closest teammate to him. He's trying to run away from Alidor, who's probably been the most impressive of the Nomme Kalju players tonight. And he's won it back off Morgan on the far side, right down by the corner flag over there, as far away from the action we are right now as you can possibly get. So throw-in's taken short in Cham.
Yeah, you might have just heard me saying just play it forward when he got the ball, because of space, and there was 2 or 3 Celtic players almost in a sprint against 2 or 3 defenders. And if you just played it over the top, I think Celtic players would be on the top of it.
Edouard cutting onto the left foot around about the 18-yard line. It breaks off the defender. It's going out for a throw-in by the corner flag on the far side as we head towards the final minute of 3 added on by the Danish referee at the end of this Champions League second qualifying round, first leg. Still a long old road ahead for the Scottish champions in this quest for the holy grail of a place in the Champions League proper. But this has been a very impressive step, or rather stride, forward towards at least the third qualifying round, which they are now basically assured of, as the cross from Cham goes straight through to the goalkeeper. Final thoughts, John Hughes?
Yeah, excellent performance by Celtic. Job done, very professional, got their goals, kept a clean sheet, and as I says to you, the tie is over. Good, they'll get their fitness out of this as well, and the goals have been shared about. As you say, Lee Griffiths, great night, great to see him back, wonderful free kick, and he got a right good 60-minute run out, so very professional job, well done.
There's Nomme Kalju on the ball in the final few seconds of the game, with Fury just moving it out to the right hand side of the Celtic box. Markovic, his cross is blocked, it's headed into the box though, and there's an offside flag got up against Fury. Now make that time up in any case. The ref might not even allow time for Bain to take the free kick, but that is it as far as this first leg is concerned, and it couldn't really have gone much better for Neil Lennon's men. You could have had more than the 5 that they have to take to to the Baltic port city of Tallinn next week. As comfortable a European match as Celtic have had in recent years. Easy peasy it was for Neil Lennon's men, although it took till the 36th minute before they got the first to Christopher Ayer heading home a free kick. Under pressure he was when it was 1-0 before a handball was given against Kalju in their box. Christie took the penalty with aplomb into the right corner of the net, sending the keeper the wrong way to make it 2-0. And Griffiths in first half stoppage time, marking his first start at Celtic Park since the end of November, or the end of September rather, last year, with his first goal since the end of November, with an outstanding free kick. It was trademark stuff, left-footed, top right-hand corner, into the net it went for 3-0, that before the interval. Christie added a wonderful fourth, McGregor added an outstanding fifth with his low-arrowed finish into the bottom right corner. The cigars are out, and how often have we been able to say that about any Scottish side in European qualifying matches these days? Celtic have made this look very, very simple this evening. It finishes here ahead of the second leg next midweek as Celtic move a bit closer to a third qualifying round tie against either Cluj, who won 1-0 against Maccabi Tel Aviv tonight. Celtic 5, the Estonian champions, Nomme Kalju 0.
Celtic in the Champions League qualifiers, live on Sportside.
From BBC Radio Scotland, there's no substitute.
Full times tonight in the Betfred Cup in Group A. Hearts 2, Stennismuir 1. Hearts go top of the table. Group B, Ross County 2, 4 for nil. 4 wins out of 4. Ross County have qualified. St Johnstone 4, Brecon City 0. Group F, Airdronians 2, Queen's Park 2. That's gone to the penalty shootout for the bonus point. And Partick Thistle 3, Clyde 2. Partick Thistle on 10 points, top of the table, and they have qualified for the knockout stages. All the details to come. Let's hear a bit more about that game at Tynecastle, because there was a big scare for the Premiership side, John Barnes.
It sure was. After 77 minutes, Stenhousemuir were 1-0 in front and on course for the first ever victory against Hearts in any competition. But this match changed with 2 goals from Craig Halkett near the end to secure the victory for the Tynecastle men. This match was very much like some we've witnessed in recent weeks, with the lower league side sitting in, basically frustrating the Premiership side who were trying to break them down. They actually were breaking them down. They were creating numerous chances. They were missing them. There were the goal was being peppered with shots. There was one stage where they were queuing up Hearts early in the second half. 4 shots on goal they had within the space of a few seconds. They were being blocked by the goalkeeper, blocked by defenders. McDonald, Walker, Washington and Bozanic were the players who were thwarted. And then Ikpieza had a header wide, then a turning shot which went wide and high of the target as well. And then in 77 minutes, Stenhousemuir went up the park on the counter-attack. David Hopkirk picked out Alan Cook in the left wing. He swung in a left-footed cross into the 6-yard line, and there was Mark McGuigan getting in to flick the ball beyond Lamal and give the League 2 side the lead. But Hearts rallied, and in 82 minutes Craig Halkett was there to get in the end of a corner kick which dropped his way after being missed by Ikpieza at the front post, and with a low right foot shot he buried it into the back of the net. Back in level terms, Ikpieza then had a header wide of the target from a Mulroney cross, but then 3 minutes from the end, another Mulroney cross from the left hand side, and there was Craig Halkett, who'd been pushed forward by Craig Levine at that stage into a central attacking role, and he rose majestically with a fine header to beat Smith to ensure a victory for Hearts. That puts them top of the table, as you were saying, Richard. 8 points from their 3 games. Dundee United are finished on 7, and of course Hearts play East Fife on Saturday, who sit tucked in their third on 6 points. So if Hearts go to East Fife and don't lose, they will progress as the group winners. It's Hearts 2-1 winners tonight against Stenhousemuir.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, thanks John, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think there's any chance of the best runner-up coming from that group, because the best points total the runner-up could have would be 8, and there are certainly look to be 4 other divisions where it's likely that the runners-up would have more than that. The Celtic players, last few of them, Ryan Christie there, Mikey Johnson just leaving the pitch, they've done a little kind of lap of honour, just applauding the fans that are left in the stadium. You know you've had an easy European night where the vast majority of the fans have decided to nip out, beat the traffic, maybe leave a minute or two early, because as the players were walking around, there couldn't have been more than about 10% of the fans still inside this stadium. But they thoroughly enjoyed their night, I'm sure, the Celtic fans. The players must have done as well. I don't think Scott Bain made a single save in the match, and they kept that clean sheet. They got the 5 goals. Ayer, Griffiths, McGregor, double for Ryan Christie, a couple of bookings, but no scares, and it is a job well done for Celtic, who have already booked their place surely in the third qualifying round of this season's Champions League. Just a quick recap on those full times from the Betfred. I will run through all the details in a moment or two. Hearts 2, Stennismuir 1 in Group A, Ross County 2, Forfar 0, and St Johnstone 4, Brechin 0 in Group B. Airdronians 2, Queen's Park 2. That has gone into the penalty shootout for the bonus point. So we'll let you know how that turns out. Let me see. David Galt missed the first penalty for Queen's Park. Gallagher and Carrick have scored for the home side for Airdronians. Summers and Clark have scored for Queen's Park. And now Smith has missed for Airdronians. So they've taken 3 penalties each, and it's 2-2. Queen's Park, I think, have just scored their 4th penalty, so it's a 3-2 lead for the amateurs in that game at the Excelsior in the shootout for the... I've managed the last 2 nights just to say either extra point or bonus point, because my son all the way from Melbourne was complaining that I kept saying extra bonus point, which suggested you would end up with 3 points rather than 2 points. So annoyingly, I had to concede he was absolutely right. So just a bonus point for for whoever comes through there. Adam Eckersley has scored the 4th penalty for Airdronians, so it's 3 goals each and 1 miss each after that 2-2 draw, exciting 2-2 draw between Airdronians and Queen's Park. It's for the knockings in that group, because Partick Thistle have tied up the group with a 3-2 win this evening. Shea Gordon getting a couple of goals in that one, and the advantage for Partick Thistle. They'll top the group 10 points, but no way will they be seeded, so they'll have to take on one of the big guns when it comes to the knockout stages. At Queen's Park 4-3 up now on penalties. John Purdue, who'd scored during the game, and made it 4-3, but Ali Roy has just equalised for the home side, so they're going to sudden death. They've scored 4 each of those penalties. Galt missed for Queen's Park, Smith missed for Airdronians during the shootout, and now they're into sudden death. So you start to get to the players who actually would rather not take a penalty, probably, who are now going to get called up. So it was Ali Roy. I remember John Hughes slamming home a penalty or 2 in his career, don't I?
I've took one on, and then I missed one in the same competition against Dumbarton, and that
was it costly? Did you go tumbling out of the competition as a result of your...
No, I was still winning. McCall was manager at Falkirk on the time, and I blasted it high and handsome. So that was me after that.
High and not so handsome, probably, if it went flying over the crossbar. But you did score one.
I have scored one. Yeah.
Pat, I know you've been involved in a few penalty shootouts over the years. I seem to recall one that you may have lost in the around about 1990.
That was the closest I ever came to. I think it might have
closest you ever came to saving a penalty.
No, I didn't. Went the wrong way for every single penalty. Jim Betts at the very start, but no, I think it might.
You'd have been next. Yeah, you were.
Thank God.
Thank goodness Anton Rogan's penalty was saved then, eh?
Dobchik missed one too, so we won't blame Anton.
Grant has scored for Queen's Park, and Airdronians have also equalised. So it's, we're not quite getting up to Peterhead Caley Thistlestan. That's what finished 11-10. But we are now sitting at 5-all after 6 penalties each. It's now 6-5 for Queen's Park in that one. So edging towards goalies taking penalties, which indeed was what happened at Balmoor last week when Caley Thistle lost out to Peterheads. The lights have gone out here. Not all of them. There are still some lights, so we're not plunged into darkness. There's this little flicker as they turn off all the fancy new lighting and get everything sorted out. But one or two of the players just beginning to come out for their warm down. It is now 6-6 in the penalty shootouts. Gazairdre Main for Queen's Park, O'Reilly for the Airdronians. 6-all. They've taken 7 penalties each in that one. Right, Tom English, That's as good as you could possibly hope for, I think, coming into this one. I think we all anticipated a fairly comfortable night for Celtic, as long as there was nothing stupid happened early in the game. It's dream time, isn't it? 5-0, coasting through.
Yeah, that's a perfect result for them, and it gives them a handy week next week. Given this is a pretty attritional qualifying process. Tonight was an easy night. Next week is going to be easy, so that's no.
I mean, it's a sort of night where you could probably play a £7 million defender, give him a start for the club.
Yeah, they could probably try him out. See if he's any good.
Well, I can't believe. I'm not quite getting Pat's thinking as to why you wouldn't play him in a game where you're 5-0 up after the first leg. Can you explain that, Mr. Bonner?
Sorry, I'm not saying. I wouldn't be surprised when I'm look at tonight when I was shocked that he wasn't gone.
No, and actually, I mean, he took the top off. He was down there already. I just wondered if there was maybe a little niggle for Ryan Christie, and that's why they ended up making the substitution they did. That actually Cham came on because he certainly had the top off. He was standing up. You could see the number 2 in his shorts.
You could put Christopher Ayer into midfield. You know what I mean. It doesn't matter. Just put him on the pitch. Get him going. Get him.
I'm sure
running.
I'm sure Neil would have had his reasons. I don't think he's got anything against the man he paid £7 million for. I don't think it's personal.
It's not you're suggesting it's not a vendetta.
I don't think it's a vendetta.
I just want to
7-7 7-7 in the penalty shootout now. But 8-7 for Queen's Park. It's frantic. It's excitement. Yeah, I mean, just a great night.
Could have been 8 here, 7 or 8.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you talk about the Griffiths free kick. I don't think anyone in the stadium was surprised when he scored because the positioning was just right, and we've seen Lee Griffiths do it right. What about Ryan Christie as well? Because similarly, as soon as he got the ball on the right angle of the box and teed it over onto his left foot, I had no doubts from 20 yards out he was going to score as well.
He was excellent. I mean, he was really, really excellent. It was a very classy performance. Now, I know, look, he's not up against much, but I thought he took an awful lot of responsibility tonight, made a lot of things happen, scored goals, created. I thought he was terrific. I thought, to be honest, look, you can only judge them on the opposition they're playing, but I was really impressed with that Celtic performance because I thought all of them were on it. I thought they were full of intent, they were full of energy, they wanted to get on the ball, they were relentless to the last whistle. They got 5 goals. I thought they were quite clinical. I mean, it could have been a bit more clinical, but they got 5.
There was a little spell, 15 minutes in the second half, where they just kept shooting everything at the goalie virtually.
That's right. I mean, it was a real kind of. They were peppering the goal at that stage. I mean, there was an assault on the goal. So I think they were lucky. They were lucky that they've left town here with only 5 goals conceded. This augurs well for Celtic in
absolutely
Europe, because I thought they were very. They had a half an hour of softening up the opposition, but once they did, I thought they were very, very good.
Look, clean sheet, 5-0. They're coasting through. It's now 9-9 in the penalty shootout. The only thing I wonder about, John, and maybe you'll tell me this comes with more game fitness, more game sharpness. The amount of times where they were trying the intricate, just those kind of quick 1-2s, flashing balls that Celtic do, and so often cut defences apart. Lots of times tonight that just broke down on the edge of the box. But
yeah, and it was a wee bit similar last week, but Celtic like to go and play through the middle. That wee give and go, wee link up play, wee reverse passes.